Hey everybody, welcome to Pillow Talk. We're still talking about 10 ways to improve your marriage. We've been very busy, having a blast being very busy. We've traveled, 5 of the last 6 weeks?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't
well,
know.
I have. You traveled 4 of the last 6.
I had
You stayed
one
home
weekend off, yeah, but I was busy that weekend.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, it's been great.
lots of great connections, lots of
Absolutely.
new networking opportunities, and just met a lot of great people in Kansas City this weekend. And
we got to
it's
spend a
been
lot
incredible.
of time with Married for a Purpose,
Yeah.
Greg and Julie, and 2 to 1 Ministries.
Megan and Joseph
Megan and
Herron
Joseph
in the Liberty, Kansas area.
And,
so
yeah.
a lot of strengthening of that relationship and just networking and just really excited to help restore marriages in this country and around the world.
Oh man, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We mentioned it last week, and that's the marriage reboots that we're doing, and man, we're seeing such great fruit from that.
So much fruit. Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend, no matter where your marriage is, get in and get in a reboot, and even if it's not with us, get with Megan and Joseph.
From Kansas
They're
City. Yeah.
amazing people. You'd be very well served.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Excuse me. So, as we continue our series of 10 ways to improve your marriage, I hope you enjoyed last week with Rick Leghorn and his
Lacey Garcia.
fiancé.
Yeah, weren't they
Lacey
awesome?
Garcia. They were amazing.
Just melt my heart. Yeah.
We had like almost 500 views, so that was awesome that so many people at least watched for a little bit and got
what an amazing couple. Already
they're going
just
to be
very focused and intentional on
yes.
starting their marriage out right, and just it's really exciting to watch them.
Yeah, they're gonna rock it. I can't wait to watch them go from here. They kind of remind us of our children.
Yep,
They're
absolutely.
just great kids. So what we want to talk about tonight is don't change what you fell in love with. And it is amazing how you can date somebody and man, their opposites are just so cool. Everything you think about them is just like, wow.
Oh, he's dreamy.
Yeah, she's so hot. But that's not what, that's what attracts you originally, but then it's everything they do. You enjoy it. You can't wait to be around them again.
Yeah, it's true.
And
that outside thing it is important. That is what attracts. But then when you get to know somebody, that's actually when you fall in love. Is when you begin to connect and have those, moments or whatever where you see something different than just on the outside.
And then you get married, and the marriage day demons show up.
Marriage day demons. Oh, I like that. I mean, I don't like them, but I like that. I like that.
Yeah. There's some weird reason that once you're married, you quit loving the differences as much, and you start wanting them to be just like you. And we really want to bring it to your attention, man. Don't do that. There's something about the Bible says, remember the former days when you were enlightened. And that goes true in your marriage as well. I think you need to stop back and think, what did I fall in love with? And I don't mean what as in what did I fall in love with? I mean, what was it about them that just made you happy, and
or just added so much value, or just extended, part of your personality, or just enlarged something in your life that was not there before.
Right. We've been married 400 and how many years?
84 years.
84 years? I couldn't remember.
That's what you keep saying, so I'm going to go with it.
Actually, it's 37.
It's
Gonna be
37 in September in a couple months. Yeah.
And, we forgot for a season what we fell in love with. Ain't no doubt.
It's not like it's abnormal.
No, it's... in fact, I say it's probably going to happen. Just go into your marriage looking for those signs earlier and nip them in the bud, as Barney Fife would say.
Oh my goodness, Barney Fife.
Nip it. Anyway.
Nip it.
So, as you're thinking about that, kind of what?
Yeah, I was thinking as we were talking about this, I thought, well, we always like to give you guys examples, not just be like, this is what you should do, and then not give you, because sometimes, if you're like me, you like to hear somebody's story about, well, what does that look like? And I think about, so real quickly, where we're really different is I'm very proactive, I plan, I'm strategically very engaged, I'm analytical. I don't prefer for things to be something that I have to react to. Sorry, I got distracted by
Made a drive-by.
There.
Well, at least wasn't a shooting.
And he is very last minute, spontaneous. He's reactive. Okay, so can you imagine what that can look like if I allow myself to step into the annoying parts of that? That would be, you know, like you wait till the last minute to take the trash out, or you wait the last minute to pack your bags for the trip, or you wait till whatever. Okay, well, I can really begin to let that bring me down and become negative, but instead, that's the very thing that I love about him, is he is so steadfast. And when I'm proactive, there's still going to be things I have to react to. He's like my rock. And even in my business, that he's not on a day-to-day level with me, I like to say that he maintains me well. I'm not high maintenance. He maintains me well. And he walks me off the ledge. Because, you know, my type personality, I'm very aggressive, I'm very achievement oriented, and I'm also talking really fast right now.
It's okay. Just listen quicker.
And so I think that that's a really good picture of, you know, I did love that about him because he's so spontaneous. He's really fun. He's really fun, and he allows me to be who I am. There's no pressure. There's no expectation of being something that I'm not. Like, he's like, it's okay, hon, just chill. So you're tired today, just rest. Well, I'm like thinking I have to be proactive about how can I not be tired, you know, and he's like, just be tired, take a nap, you know. Anyway, so that's something that you can see that, you know, if I was to allow that in 37 years to have built to become something that I hated, that I, instead of looking at that like, yeah, it is annoying sometimes when you know,
especially when you are tired.
Yes, especially when I'm tired, and you're not picking things up as quickly as I think you should, because that's how I would do it, right? Well, instead of getting annoyed with that, I do have to tell myself, you know what, you know, he is my rock, and if he was like me, I would not be where I was today.
Stressed.
We would be so stressed, and there would never be any stability. There would never be a steadfast. So yeah, I think that's a nice picture of what we're talking about in just one realm. So,
and you know, and it works in reverse. If I allowed the strict regimen to bother me, then there's so much I wouldn't accomplish in my life. You know, because I wouldn't have a regimen at all.
Yeah, because I am very disciplined and routine.
Yeah,
it is a little bit like the army here.
It's a calendar life for sure.
I live by my calendar. I do. Yeah.
But she doesn't demand that I live by a calendar. But over 37 years, I've noticed the benefits of living by a calendar, and therefore I live in a what would you call it? A micro version of your calendar.
You live in an organized, chaotic life.
Yeah, I try. Mine's more of a record what I've done, not a write down what you're going to do, unless it is an actual appointment, and then those go in the calendar. So, but you know, I'm also never late. That's an automatic.
No.
You know, it's funny because that's a who I am that she wouldn't have fell into. That she just naturally adopted. In fact, it's probably an area that early on would have caused more problems. You know, had we let it.
The benefit of that, how important that was to you, and that's another key point.
Right.
There are going to be some things that your spouse does that maybe you're not like that, or maybe that's a stretch for you. Identify a couple of those and let those be a priority, that you begin to think outside your own self comfort zone. And like, that was super important to him. And when but again, here's why I knew that. We had a conversation about that probably 30 years ago, of why being not just on time but early was very, very important to him. And as I've learned his core values and I've learned things about him, I understand why that's so important. So I really, really consciously try not to ever be late. And it's even if he's not with me, I'm in that vein. Like, he has taught me to be that way, but it's because I chose to add value to him in that way, because I saw that. Now, I don't do everything that he wants to do that's different from me. I don't step into that. But find those 2 or 3 things, and that will help you guys find common ground. You know, building on common ground is one of the best things you can do as a married couple, because that helps you to become purpose-focused instead of problem-focused, right? So instead of looking at his differences as being a problem, I choose to look at that as being something I can add, as he's very purposed in that area of his life, and that means I can bring that into my life, and it adds value. It adds extreme value to learn how to be spontaneous and enjoy the moment.
Right. Like I won't go to Walmart in my pajamas or with my hair not combed. And I expect the same from you. You know? So, I mean,
we're actually on the same page on that from day one.
If you go that way, then more power to you. But It's not what I want to represent
Yeah.
for me, and
Yeah.
therefore I don't want to be represented that way, because
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you think about it, you represent your spouse 24/7.
I'm in.
And I think you need to think about that whenever you're doing anything. Even if you're being a butthole to somebody, remember, you're not the only one doing that.
Yeah.
They will always. If I'm being a jerk to somebody, Stephanie gets
When they
represented
see
automatic.
me,
They think,
oh,
"Oh
that's
man,
Grant's wife.
yeah,
Ugh.
she must be a jerk too." Or you hear this every now and then. She's so sweet. I just don't know why she married someone like that.
I don't think they say that very often.
Well, I don't talk about us. But I've heard people say
Yeah.
things like
No,
that.
that's a good point.
And
That's a good
so
point.
what happens is then someday you're in a fight, and maybe that person starts to say that stuff to you,
Yeah.
and then that wedge gets drove in there, and then you've got problems. So
Yeah.
it's very important that you overlook the way, or not overlook, that you look over
Yeah.
things in your life and,
Yeah.
and do things.
it's
Don't
very
intentionally
intentional.
be trying to irritate your wife because she ain't telling me what to do.
Right.
You know,
It's not a stubborn stance.
No, it's just like, what
it's a
pleases.
collaboration. We're in collaboration.
Yeah.
We're a team, right?
Absolutely.
We're a team. Yeah.
And so that's very important. The next step to that would also be. Did you have something else to say
No,
before
go
I move to the
ahead.
next step? Is when you're dating, if that's the stage you're in, or if you're still dating, don't show them somebody that you're not.
Yeah.
Don't walk into a marriage as a lie.
Yeah.
And then they think, oh, they love everything about me. You better voice that in advance.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you got major problems when they start to meet the real you. And they
There's
should
an
know the real you from
expectation.
day one.
The expectation that you set in a premarital situation is going to cause either abundant joy, or it's also going to create massive amounts of frustration. And that's the wedding day demons. Is that how you said it?
Yeah,
the wedding day demons specifically, I think, attached to you have set an expectation, or you've presented yourself in a way, consciously or unconsciously, that when you get married and all of a sudden it's day to day to day, 24/7, the spouse now realizes that is not how you used to act when we were dating.
Right.
And so that expectation then of, I expect you're going to be pretty much like who I dated. When that completely changed, then there's a massive amount of frustration and a
you
lot
see
of
that.
work.
You see it a lot, and this is not trying to get off color, but people will have premarital sex, and
The wedding cake ruins it.
And I've always said that the number one thing that ruins a woman's sex drive is wedding cake. And that's sad because, first of all, you shouldn't be doing that. And that's one of the reasons you shouldn't. It's setting an expectation, because if you're having sex with your husband or your boyfriend all the time to show that,
to keep them tight,
to keep
with
them
you,
and
yeah.
make them, and then you get married, and it's all of a sudden, well, now I got them married,
Yep.
and that just goes on the bite. Well, we got kids, so I just don't feel like it, and blah 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 blah. You've set a precedent that he didn't marry,
Right.
okay,
Right.
or she didn't marry, but I feel more comfortable saying probably he. Now, first of all, so don't do it to begin with, and
Yeah.
that's coming from people that did.
That did, yeah.
Okay,
So we're not.
I'm not being judgmental or telling you or a
Yeah.
hypocrite here. I'm just telling you we would have been
Leave
better
something
off.
to anticipate.
Yeah, the good thing came from is everybody knows us. We got married
Yeah.
because she was pregnant, and we wouldn't trade nothing
No,
because we got the
absolutely
greatest
not.
daughter
Yeah.
in the world out of it. But we could have had the greatest daughter maybe a few years later.
Yeah. Maybe not.
No, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe it was, whoever.
Anyway.
Sometimes sin pays off.
Oh,
Just
don't
kidding.
say that.
Just kidding. Don't write me a dirty letter.
Yeah.
But anyway, what we're trying to say is, don't be one way. Almost, even while you're married, don't be one way one day, and that's not who you are the next.
Yeah.
Be who you are, and be. The only change needs to be you're growing and getting better.
Becoming a better version. And that's not to say that I'm a completely different person, I feel like, in a lot of ways than when we first got married, because we have grown together.
Right.
And that's a good thing. When you begin to build on common ground, you begin to set vision and an expectation of what you really want and things in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that you both have to grow. Marriage is 100%. It's not 50-50, but
Right.
as you're growing towards a common goal or a common desired outcome, which is so powerful as a marriage purpose, then you're going to find things that you want to change. I want to change to be a better version so I can help him, so I can leverage. If I can be better at something I'm already good at, it just helps me leverage that in his life. And
Right.
so it's not like, well, I'm great at that. I'm not ever going to improve. You can always improve. You can always change. There's always transformation that can occur, but then it's also the expectation of, you know, as you're trying to make that change, that your spouse understands, so that there's not an expectation of that I'm going to be somebody different than I was in a way that doesn't please him.
Right. You don't want to ever lose your identity.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to always be building a new identity together, and that's pretty important.
Sounds complicated, but it's really not.
It's really not, man. It just takes, you know, the thing that we're all about is you can end frustration through better communication, and all it takes is just talking and figuring out what the other one wants, and see, the problem is what causes a lot of friction is you know, people think, well, why should I just give her everything she wants? Well, you shouldn't. Okay. What you should do is come together and find out what you want
both
together.
Yeah.
And when you find out what you want together, then you got something to work for as a couple, and it just makes life so much better. You know, we don't accomplish hardly anything in life that's not our accomplishment.
And I just want to say, you know, a recent reboot that we did, I love our reboots because, you know, we're providing process for the content that couple has inside them. But one of the things they mentioned, one of the things that they became very aware of was, that they mentioned was that they celebrate the progress in their process. Like, they understand it's a process, but instead of just getting frustrated because they're not there yet, they're so good when we have our calls with them about celebrating the progress that they are making. And I think that's great. If you're making a baby step from week to week and it's progress in what you're processing towards together, celebrate that instead of being frustrated that it's not as big. He's not getting there as fast. He's not talking to me as much. But if he's talking more, if there's some process or progress that week, celebrate that, because it is a process.
Absolutely.
And I just love that. And I would say their names, but I don't have permission. I guess,
we don't
so I don't want to do that.
But
anyway, if you're watching, you're watching, you know who you are. But I love that. That was a great learning moment for me. I thought, what a great attitude and posture.
Right. You know, and another thing is people, when it comes to change, people feel like if they try to get a little bit of help in advance, that it's going to be a fix me session. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, that works. I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong at all, but there's a better way, and the better way is find out what your purpose is together as a couple and work towards that purpose daily. And
when you're putting your energy into that, it's you can't be divided on two fronts. It's harder. Now, there are obviously some things in marriage that need to be dealt with that are very crisis oriented. We're not talking about that. We're talking the nitpicky, everyday, naggy, repetitive issues that you've just got in the habit of being.
She squeezes the toothpaste in the middle. I like to squeeze from the bottom, and we're going to have some stupid butt fight over that. When that's really a perfect example of saying, does a fight right here get us to where we're wanting to go? Yeah.
Is the fight more important than my purpose?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I think that's what you have to look at. So
anyway.
Hopefully that's helpful to you guys tonight.
Yeah. So we want to wind it up now. Thanks again for joining. I see we got Sherry on. Welcome. Sean. And I seen Julie Enders was on. Thank you very much.
So
Stephanie can't. She can't even see me here. I'm much better looking at this moment to her. But thank you. If you just want to grow your marriage and become better, we try to do this every Monday. We had a big layoff because we had some scheduling conflicts, but we're really working hard at getting back on a regular Monday of just giving you a little 10 to 15 minute, you know, what we've learned over 37 years of not doing things right necessarily, but we got there. So anyway, if you're interested, you can go to our website, foreverwithpurpose.com, and reach out to us. We would love to have a consultation if you're interested in a reboot or just some marital coaching. That's what we live for. That's our purpose.
We love it. We love to maximize and empower marriages.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks again. We will see you next Monday night. I'm going to say same time, but it may not be. It may be an hour later because we do have a call on certain Monday nights that we can't get out of. So if we don't see you at the 7 o'clock hour, we will see you right around the 8 o'clock hour right afterwards. So you all have a very good evening and a great week till then. See you later.
Bye.